Just completed my first drive since the surgery. It only took about 3 months to get back into it. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like, when you have a manual car, it's like lots of moving the gear stick and stuff. So it hurts a little bit, but it's all right. I didn't crash. It's 44 degrees here, which is mildly suffocating. Yeah, the update today is that I saw the surgeon and I'm about to go to physio as well. And I'll do a video later today where I sort of summarise both of those things. But just wanted to show that I am back on the road, which is very convenient. Okay, so what did the surgeon say? He said that pain is going to mainly be just because my brain is so used to being in pain, and so I might still get pain signals even if there's physical improvement, which I struggle to believe just because last year that's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's still going to hurt after my surgery because my brain has learnt this pain. But then we had the very nasty surprise of finding out that there was something still physically wrong. So I said to him, can we do a scan or something to reassure me that there is physical improvement? So he was like, yeah, you can do an ultrasound scan. So he's given me a prescription for that, which I'll be having at the end of July. He has also suggested me doing physiotherapy again, which I did before surgery, which is a series of mini injections that sort of try and regenerate damaged tissue and also improve pain. So I'm going to look into starting that. He gave me a prescription for more physio. He didn't really say anything about whether or not I can strengthen or not. But my new physio knows my surgeon very well and is going to call him to ask. What else did he say? Well, he looked at my nerve and he said that if I can bend and extend the arm without that sort of like worsening pain, then it's a good sign because it would imply that the nerve isn't trapped. But it's weird because during the consultation when he made me do that, I was like, yeah, there's no change in pain. But sometimes during the day, when I do bend my arm and extend it, like I do feel worse pain. So I don't really know what to make of that. He said the scar looked good. I mean, he was very positive and almost dismissive, which in a way it's kind of like a good sign because, you know, if he was worried, he would show it. But then I don't know, I felt a bit disappointed because I was like, well, this is a bigger deal than you're making it out to be. Like, I'm still in a lot of pain and I don't feel like he sort of acknowledged that. He also had a look at my wrist because that's one of the places I get the most pain. And he did a few clinical tests and was like, oh, I wonder if there isn't like a structural problem in your wrist, like with the bones being too long or something like that, which made me freak out at first because I was like, am I going to need to have another surgery? But I told him I had MRI and radio done on my wrists back in January and everything was fine. So I don't think that is actually the case. But since he sort of planted that seed of doubt, like, I'm finding it really hard to sort of just be like, no, it's fine. Like, the pain is because of the nerve. So it's just been a very anxious day. I didn't think... I wish the appointment had been more reassuring. I'm also not going to see him before I go back to uni in America, so that's a bit stressful. But yeah, just gotta trust him, I guess. And like, I do trust him for sure, but it's just... I guess I would have liked more reassurance today. But anyway, after that I had physio and we did the LPG machine and I don't know what it's called, but the thing with the other machine we did yesterday, it's called physiotherapy in French. And then he made me do some sort of strengthening using the sort of tense machine because it stimulates your muscles. So I had electrodes here and he was sort of getting me to do contractions and extensions with the wrist and also with the bicep. I wish I could have filmed it, but I couldn't. And it felt very intense in the moment. And to be honest, like it hurt my wrist a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. But since my pain has been worse, and he told me when I asked that the pain shouldn't be worse after, so I'm a bit scared because something's already going wrong. But I'm seeing him again in 2 days' time, so we will see then. And for this week, rather than doing a more sort of day-by-day video update like I've been doing previously, I thought it would be simpler to combine clips I've taken across the physio sessions I've done over the last week. because I'm doing the same exercises every session. Show you them, voice over them, show you the treatment, voice over the treatment, and so I thought I would change it up a bit this week. So this is called the LPG machine. It's basically to look after the scar and prevent scar tissue and fibrosis by putting some suction on the skin and pulling on the scar. It literally feels like a vacuum on your skin. In addition to that, we've done laser machine and something called therapy. I don't know what it is in English, but all this stuff aims to stimulate healing of the damaged nerve. This is some icing, pretty self-explanatory. Here I'm doing some more advanced form of tense. This is on a machine that is like specific to nerve pain, a lot more sophisticated, and I get a different sensation than when I do it at home. So now to the exercises. This is my warm-up. It's like an arm bike, so pretty obvious what I'm doing. I'm just using very low resistance, making circles, like pedaling but with my arms, and this is just a warm-up. I will do this for 3 minutes-ish. Often it's painful, but then the pain goes away pretty quick. So this is my first band exercise. As you can see, I'm keeping my wrists straight, my arms as straight as I can, and I'm pulling backwards, alternating with palms facing forward and back. And as you can see, I'm trying to set my shoulder blades back to avoid the front of my shoulders compensating for the movement. This I found to be one of the more painful movements for the nerve. Now this next one, I'm standing next to a Swiss ball and I'm basically pressing down on it with my elbow straight. This video quality is terrible and the angle is also really bad, so you can't really see, but it's basically just, pressing down into the ball, holding for 5 seconds, and then releasing. I thought this one would be painful, but it was actually one of the ones I tolerated the most. I'm going to show you it from a different angle so you can see a bit better. So I've got my palm flat, arm straight, and just press down and hold for a few seconds. And all of these exercises I'm doing 3 sets of 15. Now this one I'm holding a bar, weighs a few kilograms, and I basically pivot it to the side so that it's straining my wrist. I hold for a couple seconds and then use my left hand to bring it back up, because it's still a bit early for me to do the full rotation both sides basically with my wrist. This is why I'm using the left hand to help. I actually found this was pretty simple with just this pretty light bar. I always look so focused and also angry in these videos, it's quite funny. Okay, then a slight level up is sort of the same exercise but using a tennis racket, and as you can see there's like weights on the strings to make it more difficult. The main thing here, I look really focused because I'm trying to set my shoulder blades back to avoid my shoulder compensating, so that it's just the wrist doing the movement. This I found was pretty tough on the nerve as well, but here I was just doing sets of 3 repetitions, but like 10 sets. So this is a way of strengthening my rotator cuff on my right side without involving the wrist or straining the nerve as much. So I've basically got like an ankle strap around my forearm, and it's attached to a resistance band with a carabiner, and it's very obvious, just external rotation. This is like the most basic band movement that a tennis player will ever do, but it's amazing that my physio found a way for me to work on my rotator cuff basically without hurting my wrist. So I'm really happy about that one. Can feel the back of my shoulder working, and it hasn't done that basically since the surgery, so this is a really good movement. Okay, similar sort of setup here with the carabiner and band, and here I'm basically trying to pull my arm down. This works sort of like my levator scapula and lats a little bit by just like pulling down, not too hard because otherwise it strains the nerve, but at this sort of resistance, it's good. I am aware I look like a penguin here. These videos really aren't the most flattering, but you've got to do what you've got to do to recover from an injury. So as I said, most of these are 3 sets of 15, apart from the racket one, which had to do less reps and more sets. So I'd say this is one of the more interesting vlogs because I'm actually showing you the exercises I'm doing in physio, like proper strengthening for the first time, and treatment and stuff, which is, you know, it's exciting. And I would say I'm feeling pretty positive at the moment just because there's so many new things happening. But there's also been some really tough moments. You're going to see in this video just coming up right now that I am really struggling in general with dealing with pain in so many different parts of my body and how that impacts my ability to be active. So, I mean, the next video kind of just speaks for itself. Just got back from the gym and honestly, I'm so fed up. It's like, it feels like I can't even go to the gym. Like, you know, what can I do that doesn't hurt my right arm, then doesn't really use the left one either, because that one is sort of starting to go down the same path as the right arm. And you'd think, oh, okay, do lower body, but the thing is I have a labrum tear in my hip, which it was like very manageable for a while, and now it's got to the point where like I pretty much can't do anything that like brings the knee into the chest, any of that sort of movement, which rules out a huge amount of exercises, and even a lot of them just really hurt, even without involving the hip. And I still have IT band problems with my knee, and I feel so broken. I'm like, what? Feels like the only exercise I can do is walk, and even then sometimes that's painful. I'm just so fed up of it. I'm like, I'm 20 years old, I feel like I'm 90. It's just so demoralizing, like, especially for someone who has always been so active, like, my whole life. And now it's just like, I can't get away from this pain. And I genuinely feel really negative and in despair about it today, because can I not even just work out? You know, it's not even a question of tennis anymore. It's like, can I just, you know, lift weights or run? Well, no, I can't. So, yeah, I'm feeling really shit about that today and recently in general. I have been keeping up with going to the gym for like the last few days though, because I find that mentally it just makes me feel so much better. I'm just like, well, at least I know that I am still doing some work on injury prevention elsewhere. Like what I'll typically do is I'll run a bit on the treadmill at first. I can't really run longer than 5 minutes without getting pain in either hip or knee, but I do it anyway. And I'll do things like glute exercises, so like clamshells. I do exercises to strengthen my shins, my feet, the foot physio I was talking about in an earlier vlog. My calves, I do like hamstring curls with a band. I do upper body work on my left arm. I do wrist strengthening work on the left arm. I've also been doing nerve glides on my left arm because I'm getting ulnar nerve entrapment on that side too. And there's a couple of core exercises I can do. So I've managed to sort of do like 15-minute sessions, which for me is great because, you know, that feels like it's worth going to the gym for, and I always feel better after. But it does lead to some moments like that video I just showed, because it's very demoralizing to have pain when trying so many different exercises, most of them causing pain. It's very demoralizing. And like, it's bad pain, you know, it's not because obviously when you're strengthening muscles you feel pain, but this is definitely like injury pain. So that's what I've been doing gym-wise. I've showed you the physio exercises and the voiceovers for the exercises and the treatment. So I'm doing those 3 times a week at the moment with a new physio. In physio, we've also been doing some swimming pool work, which has been really exciting. I've never done pool physio before. And obviously couldn't film that because it's in like a public aquatic centre and like you can't bring your phone in and stuff. But it's very simple. I'll be standing in a pool for about 15-20 minutes with plenty of breaks between the exercises, and I will do very simple movements like this in the pool first without using the wrist, and then incorporating the wrist, and then up and down like this. I can't really show you in here, but the water brings more resistance than just nothing at all, but less resistance than a weight or a band, and it does feel pretty relaxing and safe. So that's what we've been doing. I've only done it twice so far, but it does seem like, it's exciting to try different forms of strengthening. Obviously when you do physio you have to monitor pain, and my physio this time around he doesn't seem too focused on pain. Like he said, I'm not too fussed if you get pain after the sessions or if it hurts a bit more the next session. What we don't want is a constant crescendo of pain, or for the pain to get really bad. So for example, today's session, I got in there and I said to him, I'm in more pain than last time. I think last session irritated the nerve. And he was like, we need to keep working. So I did the exercises in the session, and some of them didn't feel good, like it burnt a lot, and then others, it was okay. And I'd say that the pain at the end of the session was hardly noticeably worse than at the start, and now it's been several hours since the session and it doesn't feel too bad. I think we'll have to see tomorrow, but basically we're kind of going through with the pain unless it gets very bad.